Good morning, everybody. This is Richard back at you. We got Miss Teresa on the camera today. Number one, we got Miss Annie hanging out. We got our clean burn heater fired up, staying warm. We got 6 to 10 inches coming here by Thursday through the weekend.
No, that's tomorrow.
Oh, actually tomorrow, yeah.
Yeah, it's supposed to start tonight.
It's gonna
So
be a
we've
bar
got some
time. We're gonna
stuff
enjoy it.
we
We
gotta
love snow here. It comes and goes, but we love it here.
Yeah.
Well, we got Gary's 97 GMC Sonoma in the house, guys. This is the one we talked about. The filter was messed up, rust in the dipstick tube, just a train wreck. They serviced it before they brought it to us. Then they tried to move it and it didn't want to move, and they ended up, I believe, frying it pretty good. Had a lot of black in the pan, film and stuff like that. So, but we did get the dipstick tube. I took an acid it. We cleaned it all up. It was shiny metal. It's shiny down in the tube now, so we can reuse the tube. Turned out really nice. I wish I could post a picture. I'll have to show you how that thing looked like chrome when I pulled it out of there. It was so clean. Well, anyway, we're going to get this apart real quick and see what this looks like.
This had the seal, 2 seals for the filter that they left up in there.
Yes. And I robbed my 15 millimeter. Let me grab it real quick. And there's no telling where it's at right now since I robbed it. Sorry guys, my tools are scattered everywhere. Not there, not over here.
Our hobby shop isn't a hobby shop anymore. I think it
I'm
becomes
telling
a
you, my tools are
workshop.
scattered. So I got my 15 deep. I tell you, we have been just going. Wonder where that dude went. I don't know. Of course, I'm not going to get that in there. Well, maybe if I take my sensor off here real quick, since I don't have my wobble. That way I can get a straight shot at that. These speed sensors, they always look really funny. I don't know why they always have to swell on the end. I don't know, it's kind of weird how they do. So they'll swell up so bad sometimes they'll actually touch the reluctor on the inside. So you don't want that to happen. I'm gonna have to find my wobble. Got a little bit of trash right through here. Not a whole lot. Just never know. This has got a little V6 in this thing. Nothing performance-wise or anything. But everybody else puts LS's in and turbocharges them. All these little pickups anymore, they're getting snatched up for that reason right there.
Yeah, this guy isn't looking for anything like that.
I think he just needs to use it at his farm. Okay, this is standard servo here. If you look here, you can see the part number here. This is the main number you're going to look at, your 553 number right there. That's going to, if you're putting a shift kit in, the units are going to ask you about that number right there. That way you get your 1-2 accumulator spring right in the valve body. A DCLF converter. If you're going to be getting a converter from B&I or anybody, you're going to be telling motor size, and then you can give them that code right there, DCLF. That way the stall is right for this little motor. See another sticker there, tells you exactly. Factory torque converter, for sure. Oh, lockup seal, it's way down there. I mean, it's flat. There's no seal sticking out at all for lockup. How many miles was on this? Do you remember, Teresa?
I think it was like 200 and something.
200 and something?
Yeah.
curious to get this apart. Bolts are tight, that's for sure. Like I greased my impact real good this morning. Because I hate stripping these bolts out. It's the hardest thing to get out. Oh, impact's hitting them hard. Well, either I got to weld a bolt, a nut on there to get in there, or I chisel them out or something. So it's really hard to get them out if you ever twist them off. Of course, you notice this here has a B29 torque converter instead of the thick B85. See here, the lockup O-ring is on the end of it, and the splines are farther down. Where your later version, they move the splines to the end and put the lockup O-ring behind the splines. Thicker bell housing. When you go to the later version, torque converter's thicker. If you notice here, this is a 4L60 transmission /700. The bell housing doesn't come off, but it has this spline and stuff on it here real early. See, and they made a 4L60 East too. Non-removable bell housing where the splines look like this, and this looks just like this here too. So they've changed them up quite a bit slowly. We had somebody asked me, what's the easiest way to get that seal out right there? You see that seal down in there?
Yep.
Never use any type of sealant on your gasket, nothing. It goes on dry. I like to clean it off, take some carburetor cleaner, clean the edge around, that way it's oil free. Same way with the pan, clean it up. Carburetor, clean this around here on a rag, wipe that up, that way it's totally dry. Put a quart gasket on there, and then speed handle it on. Never use an impact.
Those rubber gaskets are junk.
Yeah, these are junk.
Might as well throw it away.
Throw it away. Don't even use it. Not worth your time. Now, you remember, they just serviced this unit. It moved before, and it quit moving after they serviced it. So you see, this pan was clean, but look at all the black in there. So we have some type of burn up something in there somewhere. Okay. Now, anytime you buy a brand new filter, this seal is going to be stuck on that neck just like that. You're supposed to grab that filter, and a lot of times you can't even pull that off there with your hand. So I just grab a pair of pliers, pull it off. Okay, set the filter aside. Now you got to take and pull this out of there, and then you're going to take this, and I like to use my let me go grab it. My bushing driver end works perfect for installing these seals. You're going to see what I'm talking about. Now you can use I believe a 3/4 socket to get down in there to put it up in there, but my bushing driver will go right in there and put that in there. If you don't get it all the way, you can take a 3/4 socket, set it in there, and just kind of tap it in where it's flush. There's no simple way to get that out of there. Seriously. They don't make a puller that I know of or anything like that. If this filter is fitting up in there nice and tight, you got to push it up in there nice and tight. Do not replace that seal. Because somebody at home, you're going to end up scratching the side of the bore down in here where this fits in there. And it's going to get a leak right through here and start sucking air through here. So it's really hard to do it. I'd like to change it when I got it out of the vehicle, the pump on the bench, excuse me. But you can take a small little screwdriver and watch how I'm doing that. You can kind of catch the edge of it and slowly push it over. And that thing's still in there nice and tight. It's not going to come out even there. I can take a pair of, see if I can turn it with this and pull it. Oh, see, it's still in there nice and tight. So you're going to have to come over here. You don't want to go down the side of it. See how it's trying to push it down in there even. So it's hard. The best thing to do, seriously, don't even touch it. Leave it alone. Pull this one off. If your filter fits up in there nice and tight, like you're good to go. Don't even mess with it. Because you will end up scratching the side, making a big old air leak right there. Next thing you know, you're sucking air instead of fluid through your filter.
So how are you going to get that out of there?
When I take the pump out,
I
it gives me
see.
better access to it. I can put it in the vise and I can get in there and pull it out real easy. But when you're trying to do it upside down and fluid dripping on you and stuff like that, you're just going to get irritated.
Okay.
Okay, we got our 3-2 downshift solenoid right here. We got our pulse width modulating lockup solenoid here. We got our neutral, drive, all that type of stuff. Your Prindle switch in here, pillow switch. Got your shift solenoids. This one here you always got to pull off because you can't get to this bottom bolt right down here. Pull the little clip out, pull it out, always put the clip back on. Throw it in the pan, then you can get to this tin. Now this one here has the early solenoid right here. The prongs are on the end of it. The later solenoid has a connector coming off the side, and you'll plug the connector in on the side. Tap it over. Real early version. The later version physically has a cover over this, and these are only exposed. That way it doesn't get full of trash. These are bad about shorting out, causing codes and stuff. This is a 4L60E, 4L60 700 week, let me tell you. We got Lisa's done over there, works really nice. We got Barney's Autos done over here, works really nice.
Yeah, he said he's been doing some second gear scratches in yours, Lisa, by the way.
That car, I was really shocked when I built the tranny for that car. She said it ran really well, and you know, I never went out and drove it because of the weather and the tranny was messed up and stuff like that. So once I got my tranny built, I went out and drove it and got on it a couple of times to make sure that the unit was going to hold up to the motor. I kind of went, oh my gosh, this car runs better than I thought it did. So I had to come back and kind of tweak the tranny a little bit more to get the pressures up and stuff on it. And then now it works really good, kind of kicks the old butt sideways a little bit, gets your old screeching going and stuff. And I can't, hopefully me and Teresa can do a video of that. She's going to really enjoy that. They love them second gear scratches.
Lisa or me?
Teresa, you had a really nice race car too.
But I'm used to being in the driver's seat, not in the back seat.
Yeah, definitely. This is your forward accumulator spring here. You just want to make sure it's got aluminum piston. Change your seal here. Make sure that the pin doesn't wobble real bad. If it's nice and snug, you can just Scotch-Brite this up in here, put a new seal, and you'll be good to go. Cut my valve out of here. There we go. Get over here. Now, you remember we always block the lockup valves on these. So we're going to get in and see what style it has real quick. Try to get the old valve to fall out of there. Come on, there's one more. Can I use air, Teresa?
As long as you turn it your way.
There she comes. There it goes. Okay. This one here, we'll take the tubing style plug is what we'll make for this one. You can see this valve goes in there like that. You got this piece like that in the end of it, basically. What you're going to do, you're going to block these two valves apart like that. And what I do is I take a piece of cooler line, your regular metal cooler line, and I'll take a tubing cutter and I'll cut it down to where I can put a piece of tubing in here. That way these two valves are held apart like that. On my later versions, I can drop 2 check balls in each end and keep the valves apart. But on this one here, you're going to have to take a piece of tubing, cut it the length to keep these two valves apart, and be able to put this back in, put the clip in. Real simple. Night and day difference in lockup. I have found out though that if you block that with a triple disc, it's too firm. I always leave the pulse in when I do a triple disc converter. It makes it a lot more comfortable to drive on the street and stuff like that. So. Oh, I wanted to show you something here too that a lot of people don't know this. You have your 1-2 shift accumulator spring and valve right here. See if I can push this out. There we go. Now let me pull it out. Right here. So when you get your shift kit, they're going to ask you, there's a number on the end of this thing. And I mean, it's so hard to see. You see that number right there? On the end of there, right there?
X?
Well, yes, you can.
X and maybe a C?
Yeah, but it's some of them you can't see on there at all. But they want to know that number right there to tell you what spring to put in here, depending on what servo you're doing to apply your band and stuff. And they want to know the accumulator and stuff. But what this does is this valve right here controls how much fluid goes to this accumulator to make your second gear shift. The lighter the spring, the more fluid goes past this valve and uses this accumulator to soften that second gear shift, okay? The firmer the spring, the less fluid it sends to the accumulator, the more fluid it sends to the servo to apply the band. So just remember, the firmer the spring here, the firmer the shift's going to be because it's going to use less of this accumulator. It's going to put fluid to the band first before it puts it to the accumulator. The lighter, it puts more to the accumulator than it does the band, so you get a softer shift. So your shift kit's going to talk about that too. Pretty simple. I wanted to throw that out there. There's just so much that you can learn off these things. But if you put the wrong spring in there, you're definitely going to know it because you're going to get a very good shift. Lock up solenoid here. You can clean this up, put a new O-ring on here. When you clean this up, there's a valve in here that'll shake.
I can hear it.
Hear it? You can test it, make sure it's working good. Of course, you got your valve body plate here. Top gasket says V, bottom one says C. Remember, round hole, round hole. If you have a square hole here, use a square hole gasket. Of course, your shift kit's going to tell you which holes to enlarge for fourth or for second or for third, stuff like that. So you want to look at that. Of course, you have your fourth gear accumulator here. We always double stack this. I talk about 350 pump washers. You can put 3 to 4 of them on top of here, put your other piston on here, and it's the perfect clearance. Just remember, 350 pump washers, 400 pump washers work really good. You're not having to do something crazy. I watched a guy sit there and file for 30 minutes on the internet the other day on a washer to get it to fit, and it's just not that critical. Now, when you do block this off, You don't need your 4th gear check ball here anymore. You can get rid of that, leave that out too. Trying to get all my check balls out there. There they are. Grab your parking pawl here, turn the shaft. No matter where that falls down in there, you get to that bottom. Now how that's exposed. I mean, it's physically right here. You ain't got a bunch of case over the top of it to get to that seal now. You know, you can, I might be able to get in there and grab it with this. No, I'm still gonna have to play with it, but okay, it tells you how difficult it is to get out. There's nothing easy about it. But on the bench, it's definitely easier. You have a 13 vein pump. 13V stands for 13 veins. I didn't expect to find really any hard part damage on this thing because the truck's light, the motor don't make no torque. So it's going to be pretty easy on things. I like that heater. It's quiet. You can think around and stuff. I mean, the pump slide's starting to get some little hot spots on it. Through here you can see a little bit, but nothing major. Just remember, I always seal my case or my pump bodies right through here. I put a little bit of sealant. You can use Loctite, you can use whatever you want. Just I like to seal that right through here. You have line pressure here, and this is your vent circuit. So if you get a little leak here, always flat file. I get so many pumps in here that's got dents right around the edges. Right there from people. And then when I take my file, it's just like whoop, whoop. I feel every one of them when I go around that thing. Same way here, there's stator. You get dents all around here on the edges. So, got your lockup valve here. You can see there's a hole here you can push it through. Now, on your bushing kits, on your early versions, your kit's going to come with a wide bushing on the end of your stator here. It's going to come with a narrow bushing here. Now, if you have the later version like this one over here with a bigger torque converter and a thicker bell housing, the bushing that goes here is wider. They put a little bit of wider bushing here from the weight, I guess, of the converter and parts, components, and stuff like that. So, can you stick a narrow one in there? You can do whatever you want, and it will probably hold up. But you know, band looks pretty decent. Really shocked in that area. Low reverse clutch looks pretty decent. Or not your low reverse, excuse me, your reverse clutch. Got a big hole in the drum. Just always want to check that if you're having to change your drums out. So, hoping to find something in here. Clutch is starting to get a little dark there. Like I said, this is a light vehicle, so I didn't really expect much, but 3/4 clutch. Your engine brake clutch. Forward clutch. I see some stuff in there. I figured I'd see a little bit more cooked in that area. Got your lube seal here. You never forget it because that's what your oil cooler oil here comes through that hole, goes through this seal and goes down through here and lubricates everything. Really not much wear on the shell. These are bad about cracking along through here. Definitely still want to do a good upgrade. And of course we're going to get rid of the thrush washer and do a roller bearing hub here. You always want to look here for wear. Even if you have a roller bearing hub, you want to take it out of this ring gear and look, because these will try to strip all through here, especially on the later versions with the bearing. Also, they make two different versions. Some of them, the hub centers the bearing, and some of them, the planet centers the bearing. I'll show you, they make see how much bigger that bearing is? So they make a bigger bearing for here too. That will fit right in there. So you want to look at the ring gear just for any wear on the teeth or bad patterns or anything like that. Got your wave here. Of course, we'll leave in there for this one. Low reverse clutch looks pretty decent too. Makes you wonder if this tranny hasn't been out before. Want to look for any pitting or anything on your sun gear. We see a lot of that. Wobble on the gears on the Planet. Well, I figured I'd find a little bit more damage than that right there than the way it looked in the pan, the darkness of the black. But you know, it could have come out the converter too, so it's really hard to say. By looking at the black in the pan, I would say that, you know, it needed to come out no matter what. But anyway, we're going to get the all cleaned up, get this thing freshened up for the gentleman, get it back together and get him on the road. We want to thank Ms. Teresa for recording, always. Guys, don't forget to subscribe, push the notification bell. We definitely got more to come. Have a great day.